It is lights out and away we go. Hello, racers. Welcome to episode 27 of the Hard or Soft F1 podcast. I am your sleep-deprived host, Adrian Huff, and I'm joined by my probably decently well-slept co-host, RJ McCullough. How's your sleep habits been going, RJ?
Some days are better than others. I'd say better than yours, but you may be sleep-deprived. But have you heard the term blue balls, Adrian?
Yes.
Because I waited a month for a race, a whole month patiently waiting to see Lewis Hamilton race. And then not only did I not get one lap, I didn't even get 1 minute. I got 39 seconds.
Yeah.
39 seconds of Lewis racing. And then he crashed. It may have been his fault, but still, it was very frustrating.
Stings.
Luckily, yeah. First one all year. I think he's only done that a few times in his career, so, or at least since he was younger. So yeah, it's not great. It was a tough race to watch the whole thing without Lewis, and then I'm sure it was fun for you to watch, but it wasn't fun for me.
Yeah. I mean, if you follow Fernando Alonso's logic, I mean, he apparently doesn't know how to drive unless he's in the front, which I don't think that's necessarily true if you look at, like Brazil last year. But
yeah,
listen, that is a savage comment. It's a little overkill. Yeah, it's fucking savage. But it's definitely not true, for sure. He's just definitely. I mean, yes, it was Lewis's fault, but that just is like totally like tracks for Fernando. But as soon as he said that, I was driving in my car watching it. I was like losing my shit because I just knew how fucking pissed you'd be.
Yeah, excuse me. I was already pissed off, and then that was just the cherry on top. Just put me over the edge. Was throwing stuff around the room. Yeah, because I mean, the first 30 seconds before the crash, about 38, 39 seconds in, it was good. Like, Perez obviously had a bad start, so Lewis got up to third behind Alonso. Thought, all right, and then didn't go so well after that. But
yeah, Perez had an absolute shit start. But Carlos, it's a shame. I said to myself, I was like, holy shit, Carlos is gonna win this race. But then I like by lap 11, or not even 11, like lap 8 or 9, I was like, oh no, actually I forgot Max Verstappen is in this race.
Yeah, once they had the safety car, and then he was already up to like by the end of lap 1, he was like P8 or something. So, anyways, another win for Max. That's 9 this year. So
yes,
time. Tried to find a spa-colored Rebel, but weren't available in stores. So here we go for yet again another attempt at a heart attack.
The amount of Red Bulls you've chugged just in 27 episodes is fucking crazy. And every time I'm blown away by how just quickly you down those. It really is something. Yeah, so while he's chugging that, I sent you this. Yeah, sorry, buddy. That's unfortunate. We're slightly delayed, slightly off track, but we've got a couple of small changes coming to the show. I got a new nice little webcam. Little it's not just the little circle in my laptop, so
gonna look even better than you already do.
You're gonna see a lot more definition, so it definitely won't be better. It'll be more shocking for sure.
All right,
so much more detail. But yes, we can get back to the F1 talk.
I knew you had to filibuster there for a second.
Do you want to run through the standings now for Spa? Okay.
I do.
Go for it.
Because let's see, you obviously had Verstappen with the win, and then Charles at 8. And then you had more. I think you had 6 guys that scored points for a total of 47 this week. Finally. And just to recap, going into the week, so after Hungary, I led by 46 points. So you got 47 this week, and then I had 18 from Perez, 15 from Sainz, 12 from Russell, 10 from Alonso. So I had 55. So I now lead by 54 points.
Damn.
Gained another 8 points on you. So.
Jeez, I thought I would have actually gained on you this week, but I guess not. Jesus. Ferrari is fucking me so hard. Charles doing bad. Like, I pretty much put my entire like strategy into Max and Charles, and then the rest were just like, I'll pick these guys. I mean, Pierre Gasly was my third pick. How fucking stupid was that? Next year is going to be completely different. Next year's going to be. I'm so excited for the draft.
I do hope next year is going to be completely different because that leads me to my first question for you.
Yes.
This is completely serious. Is Max Verstappen, is he bad for Formula One? Because like if someone's winning the races all the time by that much, and it's making his teammates look bad, making everyone else, I mean, it's just not competitive, and I don't know. I wouldn't want to see one person win like 7 titles in a row or something like that. Do you think that's bad for the sport?
I have some interesting. I mean, I feel like this debate's been kind of talked about a lot online since for this race in particular. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing at all. Max Verstappen I think is a great thing for Formula One. I think it brings up a little bit about the argument, sort of like the same thing that like anti-Lewis people have been saying when that he was going through his era of absolute domination, is that they always were saying that it's the car, not the driver, saying that, Mercedes got him all the championships, even though he had 2 with McLaren, right?
At least 1.
Yeah, I thought I could be wrong. I thought it was 2. I might be stupid. He has what, 6 titles?
No, he has 7.
No, he has 7. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. But
8.
yeah, that people brought that up so many times, even at the end of the 2020 season. It's the car, not the driver. And people are saying that now about Max. It's like we're completely reversed now. But I don't think that's completely true because I think Bottas and Perez are proving that wrong because they're in the same car, and they're not pulling out these complete. I mean, Sergio and Carlos were on the front row and they could not pull off the win. They lost to the guy that started in 14th. I think that just shows like the skill that he has, but I don't know. I do think it's possible we could see like a Sebastian Vettel level dominance for a couple of years. I don't know. I don't know if that would be like good for the sport, but I mean, I feel like that's kind of the way it's always been. I mean, Mercedes, if it switches to Red Bull now, but we're not going to get, I don't think we're going to get another like 7 years in a row like we have been, like the Mercedes. I think that's past. But to answer your question, I think it's fine.
Yeah, no, I do too. I mean, it's kind of a sport. That's where it goes. When you have the best driver in the best car, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then just look at his, like, yeah, Sergio finished second, but he started way ahead of Max. So like,
yeah,
if it was just the car, then Max would have lost. So yeah, it's a little frustrating being on the other end of it, having to see Max kind of just go through the entire field. But hey, what are you gonna do, right? I mean,
it's unbelievable.
It's the nature of the sport. Like, yeah, Seb won 4 and then didn't do anything, and then Lewis won a bunch in a row. So I hope it's not going to be like a string of a bunch, like 5 or 6 in a row. I hope Lewis can get at least 1 in there, and maybe Charles can get 1. But yeah, obviously this year is going to be Max's. But the one thing that I think Red Bull needs to look out for now, though, for the rest of the year is I was reminded of a quote that certain Toto Wolff was said last year. And it was the well-known quote, "Everybody has a target on their back next year."
So Red Bull have a target on their backs next year.
Everybody has a target on their backs next year.
Clearly that hasn't aged well, but I mean,
no.
If I were Red Bull, I'd be looking out because he's going to do something. They've got a target on their back, so look out, Max.
I feel like honestly, especially after this weekend, I think George and Lewis are doing damage control. I think they are fully invested in next year's car at this point. Yeah, they did some floor upgrades. I mean, they had that whole. I don't know if you saw that quote from Christian Horner where he thanked Toto for the upgrades, which was just like so cunty. But I mean, it's typical Christian. It's fair play, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty mental that Red Bull were already in the dominating like part, and then they've still found a way to capitalize when Mercedes tried to gain an edge through like fairness.
Yeah,
it's wild.
They seem to be like miles ahead now, and I know like it's exacerbated at Spa because it's like the longest track, and like the DRS zone was a little ridiculous too. Like if you were a faster car, like plus the pull-up DRS, it was insane.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
So it'll be a little bit different potentially at Zandvoort. Like the laps are almost double. Like it was 44 laps at Spa and 72 at Zandvoort. Like that's just such a crazy difference. So yeah, we'll see. I think Sainz was even saying that Zandvoort actually sets up this year better for Ferrari, but then Monza, I think, is after that, sets up well for Red Bull. So
it does.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see where Mercedes slides in there.
Yeah, I think there's potential that Max could make this like a really fucking boring triple header. Of course,
Yeah.
the good thing though is that there's amazing battles going on all through the midfield because the cars are better this year at that at least. But I don't know. I don't know if you have it mentioned here specifically, but I know you have wanted us to talk about Piastri briefly, but
yeah.
Can we transition to that, because I actually have some thoughts on Alpine. I know you can talk about the case, but I feel like after this weekend, if I was Piastri, I would feel like, I don't know, I would feel like slightly concerned because Alpine like fucking wiped the floor with McLaren this weekend. McLaren was embarrassing. They were bad. I mean, Danny was able to get into Q3, thank God, but I mean, he placed 15th and Lando was 12th. I mean, they got 0 points this weekend. And Alpine, they got 5th and 7th. I mean, dude, what the hell? I would feel really like second guessing myself. Like, what do you think about that? Because this weekend was a bad McLaren weekend.
Yeah, certainly not good. I don't know. They showed some pace like in practice and qualifying even, but yeah, when it came down to the race, I don't know, certainly wasn't good.
No.
So I don't really know what Piastri is going to do, but I guess there's it's the never-ending story. I don't know. It seems like he's probably signed to McLaren. They're just waiting. Alpine and McLaren are both waiting for the case to end before they can announce anything. But a few things have kind of come out of it. So the F1's Contracts Recognition Board, of course, is meeting today to decide the outcome of Oscar Piastri's future, either with Alpine or McLaren. However, it is understood that Piastri is no longer Alpine's preferred driver, which, I guess that makes sense because he's obviously not going there. But then there's been, over the weekend, there were some rumors about Gasly going to Alpine. So the Ricardo thing has kind of dropped off a bit. And then Gasly kind of shot that down. Although they asked him if there's going to be any announcements, and he said, "Oh, not from me." So, I don't know if you could take that different ways. But and then they asked Ocon who he would want as his teammate. And I thought he would say Gasly because he's French. They're both French. And then he said Mick, yeah. So, because they're buddies, I guess. So, I don't know. There could be maybe Danny goes there and Mick goes to Alpine. Danny Haas. Who knows what's going to happen.
Danny and a Haas would be cool.
It would be cool. I'd feel kind of bad for him competitively, but
I don't think they can afford him.
Yeah, that's that too, right? Although maybe if he's getting the payout from McLaren, he won't need as much.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
But yeah, it's sort of. So I guess the ruling or whatever could come down any minute, and I'm not too invested in that. I'm more just want to see the headline of it. Basically, it's going to probably just be money realistically if they pay. So I mean, it's going to probably seem like a big sum of money, but to them it's probably nothing, right?
Right. I can't remember. We send each other so many clips and videos and stuff throughout the week. You might have sent this to me, so I apologies if you were the one that sent this to me. But did you see the clip of Lando of that one journalist sort of tricking him into talking about Piastri?
No, I didn't know.
So there's this journalist. I feel terrible for not getting his name. People on Reddit love him because he just asks these crazy questions. He gets these great answers out of the drivers. He was only able to go to one race this year, and it was this weekend at Spa. He asked Lando, I can't get it exactly right, but he asked him something along the lines of, what's it going to be like racing alongside Piastri next weekend? And Lando says something like, have they announced it? And he's like, no, this is all just speculation. He goes, oh, well, I have no idea what that would be like. And then he just walks away. That's not it exactly, but it's a great clip. But it kind of proves that what everybody's been saying that he's going.
Yeah. Seems like it. Jeez. No, I didn't see that. I just saw the one that I think I sent you of like Lando after quali when Lando was talking to Max and Max told Lando he only did one lap in Q3 and Lando was like, of course, walked away.
I know.
Funny.
He is like, I mean, he's just so like chill. I mean, yeah, when things go wrong, he like bitches the fuck out, but nobody else plays, FIFA before Formula One races. Like, that's just crazy. That's just a level of calmness and I'm ready and don't give a fuck that just makes me love that guy. I want to meet Max Verstappen so bad.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I do.
No,
I would want to meet Lewis Hamilton almost as much. Just saying. Not
almost
as much, but almost, yeah.
Yeah. What else? There's a new Vegas put out a new video. It's nothing like for the F1 thing. It's nothing like crazy. It's another one like kind of animated looking ish, but just the wording of it was a little interesting. So I hope that this isn't what they're going with for their tagline. So the world's top F1 drivers speeding down the strip at 212 miles per hour under the neon lights. No one has seen anything quite like this. It's Vegas speed, baby. VEGASPEED. Vegas speed.
Vegas speed. The way you said that was really funny.
I'm really hoping that's not their tagline, because if that's a sign of things to come, it's going to be
Vegas speed.
It's easy. It's Vegas speed.
I need to rewatch the video of the simulator of what the track's going to look like, because I don't know. I was really not thinking I was going to like Miami, but I've played that track a couple of times now, and it is so much fun. I love that track so much to drive. The race itself was pretty shitty, but actually
Miami?
playing it, loved it.
Yeah.
Or I loved driving it. The weekend itself was, man, even though Max won.
Yeah, well, it's a good spectacle, I guess you could say. I hope they change up the track, but yeah, it's fun to play. But yeah, speaking of tracks, I guess the opposite of those tracks though. Spa obviously got announced before the race that they're renewed for 2023, which seems like it's gonna bump South Africa. What's the track, like Kyalami or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's called. It's like an old track they were gonna bring back. But it seems like the public outcry for Spa worked. So, I mean, it's kind of sad that they're not gonna have that South African track on there. But hey,
yeah, there was an article.
Keep Spa, so yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There was an article saying, like, I don't know if it was within the last week, that there was some sort of issues regarding the South African track. I don't know if it was financially or if it was like an actual construction issue, but there's definitely some problems there why they couldn't hold that race. I don't know if that contributed to keeping Spa, but yeah, it sucks that we're not going to expand to another continent next season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what time the races would have been if they're racing in South Africa. Who knows what time we would have had to wake up at? But
yeah,
I mean, could have been fun.
Oh yeah, let's see what time it is there right now.
All right, because yeah, it's 6:35 p.m. here right now, so see what time it is there.
It's 6 hours ahead of us.
Okay. But yeah, I don't really know how that references, because all the times are all over the place with Europe and all that stuff with the F1.
So that'd be like 9 a.m. for us for a race. Not too bad.
Maybe, which is what it is this weekend. Yeah, I guess we can go in a little more detail for Spa. It wasn't our final one, but I thought it might be, but thankfully it wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, the qualifying was really weird because like there were so many grid penalties. I don't remember how many were, like 6 maybe grid penalties, like people taking power units and all that stuff.
So many.
So yeah, that gave me even more hope for Lewis doing well. But Mercedes had like probably I think one of them said like was their worst qualifying in like a decade, because they should have at least been after the like they started 4th, 5th. They should have probably been 2nd, 3rd, or 3rd, 4th
right
at worst. But yeah, so that was disappointing. But
they were like 8th and 9th before the penalties in Q3, weren't they? Something like that.
It was like, yeah, I think 7th, 8th maybe.
Yeah, something
they were
like that.
behind the Alpine.
Shocking.
Yeah, just like very strange. I just like kept waiting for the times to come up, and
I know.
Yeah, frustrating, very, very frustrating.
Straight line speed in these cars. Red Bull have just like found that like magic key to just unlock that extra speed. Even Ferrari are not as fast as the Red Bull, but
no, like I think George was saying that like he thinks that the Mercedes is as fast now, if not faster than the Ferrari. So, which
bold statement.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell really, but yeah, we'll see. I guess maybe more when there's two of them on track, but
George did pass Leclerc.
He did, and he had DRS going there, but still he held it, like he finished ahead of him. So, yeah, just sort of a weird quali, and then just kind of figuring out like where everyone was actually starting. Like Max got pole, but he didn't really get pole. And yeah, he was 14th. Charles was 15th. Yeah, and we started the race. Yeah, was there anything like? I mean, right off the bat, like Sainz got away well. Perez had like a brutal start. Did you like this? So they said like Perez was like trying to take away Alonso, but he wasn't going that far across on purpose, was he?
No, I don't think so. I think he knew that he had a shit start and that he wasn't getting a lot of traction right off the jump. And yeah, he just was like, shit, I got to cut off Alonso. But then, Alonso shot up, had a great start, but sadly, he had his little tussle with Lewis, the racing incident. Yeah. But yeah, starting out, Sainz definitely took away quick. Leclerc sadly getting the shrapnel from Max's car, which caused damage, which he pit in lap 4?
Yeah, lap 4. Charles pitted. That's insane though. That like there's a video of Max pulling off his visor, carrying it, and it goes into Charles. Like the odds of that. Yeah. What can't Max do?
Like did the whole? I wonder if the whole thing got stuck or if it like shattered and just like the little bits. Who knows? That's just that's fucking hilarious.
That can even happen. Like there's got to be a better way. Like they just throw it at their car.
Dude, he sabotaged Charles. He was just like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, but yeah, right off the bat, the Hamilton Alonso they collide, and then like I said earlier, Alonso came on the radio and was like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot. He can only drive when he's leading and in first place," which obviously isn't true. I know people say things in the heat of the moment, but it was kind of funny. They interviewed Lewis after, and they're like, "Oh, they're kind of trying to like bait him into saying something." They're like, "Oh, did you hear like what Alonso said about you?" And he just kind of stops for a second. He's like, "I don't care," and he just walked away.
This reaction was a bit rough. I don't know if you've heard it.
I don't care.
So I like that. But then Lewis did admit it was his fault. That he was in his blind spot, he didn't see him, but still that it was his fault. And then Alonso kind of backed down his comments too. But still, those two have always had a bit of rivalry. So when it first happened, of course, I was saying some not so nice words about Alonso, you could say, were being uttered in this household. But
15 years of rivalry, man. That's got to make you a pretty bitter inside.
Yeah,
especially
as much
Fernando.
As I felt bad for Lewis, but it was Lewis's fault technically, even though Alonso could have backed out, but Alonso doesn't back out, much like Max. No. But then I felt really bad for Bottas because out of nowhere, like Latifi just digs into the gravel and spins right into cuts across. I think he missed someone by like inches, and then he just took out Bottas out of nowhere. So Bottas was out of the race. So that was unfortunate. Classic Latifi.
Yeah, bad birthday weekend for Bottas. Even his naked picture that he posted this weekend didn't help him out this time.
I know he was on our awards show last year, and just last week it didn't help him out. But
no, Bottas has had just such shit luck lately.
I know he's obviously like he's really enjoying it at Alpha. Mm-hmm. He even said he'd like to stick around to drive with Audi when they take over, but that's another conversation for another day, I guess. But yeah, and then lap 4, the Charles box because of his tear thing. So all this happened in the first few laps. There was a safety car. Max is just, and then after that, like, it's pretty much just the Max show. Like he was picking. I'm sure it was a lot of fun for you. It was like he was playing the video game on like easy level. Like just every lap he was picking off one or two guys. Yeah. Guys were even just like letting him go. Like even Alonso never lets anyone go by, and he just like let him go right on by. So yeah, he was in first by like lap 11 or 12, but there was also like pitting. So after the pit, him and Sainz had both pit. I think it was lap 18. But so like all things being equal, lap 18 he passed Sainz, and then so it only took him 18 laps to remove, starting in 14th place. Like insane. The Red Bull is nuts, but like Yeah. I mean, there's not really wasn't really too much more after that. Like, I think a few laps later, Paris passed Sainz, so the Red Bull had their 1-2, and then it was just another Ferrari mess up kind of time of the day. Not like as egregious, but they went for the fastest lap, ended up costing them more points than they would have got because Charles did he came out of the pits, had a battle with Alonso, ended up getting past him, but then sped in the pit lane to get out of the pit lane to get ahead of him, so he dropped a place. Then even Alonso said afterwards when they asked him about it, he's like, "Oh yeah, Ferrari, they always do make some sort of weird strategy call."
Yeah,
and obviously he would know. So
he would. Dude,
Yeah.
I was losing my mind, especially like it's just so fucking. Of course, they couldn't, Charles had just bad luck in general with the visor making him pit on lap 4, but then they cost him 5th place, even though, he's behind by an insurmountable amount of championship points. It's still, it's just so it stings. It stings.
Yeah.
It stings
There's also
so much.
two things on the broadcast. One about Ferrari that kind of put it out. Like, I've always kind of wondered if this was the case, but they even said it on the broadcast. Like, Ferrari, not the whole race, but for like 10 minutes, they just kept coming on and like vocalizing their entire strategy. Like, Charles, we're going to maybe do this or this and on this lap. And what do you think about doing this on this lap? And like, they're just giving their entire strategy to everyone that's like all the other teams, so they can go against that, where you'd think they would kind of want to keep that a little more secret. Like Red Bull, maybe they'll say like, go option B or option D or whatever, but Ferrari are just like openly discussing like, we might do this on this lap, we might do this on this lap. I don't know, just a little bit strange, and even they pointed out on the broadcast. But
Definitely. I will say in just in the last, couple of years, you don't hear like that many radios from Red Bull or Mercedes going plan B, plan A, but Ferrari all the time, we are going with plan D, plan D. You're like, plan D? What the hell happened to the first 3? What the fuck are you doing?
Like, plan F, plan E?
Plan F,
like
you're like,
how much
what?
time did you guys spend like going over all these plans?
And now they're just
they
like,
have to remember like 10 different plans?
What about plan A? Or how about plan B, Charles? What do you think? Should you pit now or should we wait another 2 laps? It's like, dude.
And like, how is over? Like, they have all the data. They could say like, if you pit now, it's this. If you don't, it's that. But they're just like, what do you think, Charles? It's like, yeah, he wants to be involved, obviously, but they've just got it all. They got it all backwards over there. They're gonna quickly lose 2nd place if Mercedes is even equal to the Ferrari now in pace. Like, I guess that's what we're gonna watch for now. Because and there was another moment on the broadcast that was, I mean, I thought it was funny. I guess probably no one else even noticed it, but it was a brief mention of Canada on the broadcast when Brundle said, well, this is the first time that 2 Canadians have started in the top 11 in a Grand Prix in F1. And then quickly he said, well, that's the most useless stat I'll say all day.
He's a
like,
savage.
Oh, well, we got a shout out for a second there, and then just torn down.
I will say,
enjoyed it. So thank
props
you.
Props to Brundle. People are always saying that, the British commentators are biased, but he immediately was like, yeah, that's on Lewis. Like,
I know. I was even like, no, it's not. And
you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But yeah, he was right.
Yeah, unfortunately. But Ferrari, they're infuriating. I'm so glad that I'm not like a dead hard, like only Ferrari fan, because it would not be enjoyable to watch every weekend. It really wouldn't.
Yeah, if one of us was as much of Ferrari fans as we are Mercedes or Red Bull, it would be brutal.
It would. And I think it's personally embarrassing that even if he hadn't have lost the 5th place to Alonso, trying to get fastest lap on like the final lap of the race.
Yeah.
When you're going up against Max, who has been just an absolute beast all day. I mean, how did they see that delta and they're like, oh yeah, we can definitely beat that on the straight. Like, no, what are you doing?
I guess I figure with fresh softs, but like,
no.
Even if they get it, like, do you really think this championship's going to come down to 1 point at this point? Like, is that what's going to swing this title? I mean, maybe like just take what you can get and take that risk a little later in the season if you can get it back within like, I don't know, 50 points maybe.
I'll tell you, if they had have gotten the fastest lap, it would have brought the deficit from 98 to 97. So, you know what? That matters. That matters.
Well, I guess you'd take one away from Max and give one to Charles. So it'd be 2 points, actually. 2-point swing.
Oh, yeah. You're fucking right. That's absolutely. So I'm so sorry. Yeah, 96.
I mean, wow. You can't blame them for going for that, you know? You gotta keep it under 100.
Yeah, exactly. Because then there's still hope.
Yeah, that's what they were going for all year.
So sad.
We actually did get a pretty good. We've been kind of complaining a little bit. We love the cooldown room, but there's always something wrong with the audio or something.
Yep.
So we actually got a pretty good audio this time. It's because they were all staying together right beside the TV. But I don't know. It's always just cool hearing them talk. Like as much as we rail on Max, both of us do for his bitching and stuff. Like there are those cool moments when you see him talking to the other drivers. Like we mentioned when the Lando won, and then in the cooldown room, and he's like, "Oh, you got to see what, like my first lap was going on ahead of me," because there was like a couple crashes and there was just gravel being thrown up everywhere. I kind of want to go back and watch his onboard from lap 1 because if he said it was crazy, it must have been. But yeah, they saw the Lewis crash and they're like, "Oh, that was a big hit." Kind of just like dissecting that. Yeah, they're just like, it's really cool. It's just seeing them chop it up and actually being able to hear them this time.
Yeah, I know. In F1, they posted some clips too with like some really, really nice, crisp, like actual hearable audio, which was nice.
Yes.
Getting Carlos being like, he's like, "Oh yeah, the tires degraded in like 6 or 7 laps," and Max, he's like, "Did you not have that problem?" Max was like, "No, not for me. I was fine."
No, I had perfect tires. Yeah. Sainz said his softs only lasted for like 3 laps and then they were spinning out. Perez, he said he was tail fishing a bit, but yeah, not for Max. But I mean, that's probably credit to Max and his driving. Obviously, there's a little bit of other factors, but sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. 2 funny radio moments was Ferrari telling, I forget if they told Carlos it was Charles. They were saying tires are degrading quicker than we thought, but that is for everyone, not just us.
Yeah.
And
like
then
they have to like make sure he knows like this isn't a Ferrari thing.
It's not just us. Please don't be mad. Don't quit, please. And then Red Bull, when I forget, Max is like engineer. He's like, you can slow down a bit to try to save tires. He's like, "Mate, what do you think I've been doing the last 5 laps?" It's like amazing.
I like Max's like when he went across the line, he did a little like squiggle. Although there was a car right behind him. I was like,
both Haas. There was one in front of him and behind him. It was both Haas drivers. They're probably just like, "What the fuck?"
That would have been hilarious if he just slammed right into the back of him.
Yeah, him and Mick finally collide, and it's after he's won, and Mick is in the back.
Yeah, I think we can definitively say now. We don't want to be the ones to jump too early on this. Then we can definitively say now that the title's wrapped up.
Yeah,
this
year is over.
Cancel Ferrari.
Now it's we're watching midfield and second place pretty much because Ferrari could still choke away. I mean, this weekend, Mercedes didn't really look like they were capable of competing for P2, but they absolutely could still come back and fight for second place in the Constructors, no doubt about it. I'm so excited for Zandvoort. It definitely is not like a Red Bull-centric track, but, it's still Max's home track. He's going to be coming with the energy of a win and his home race. I'm wondering, is what's going to happen last year going to happen is that they're going to just completely like blind all the drivers with all the orange smoke. It's going to be impossible to see.
Yeah,
it's going to be the worst.
They're crazy there.
They are, especially if he wins, dude.
Nice, but oh my god. Well, yeah, I think he's going to, but hopefully not.
I think Monza also, like you said, that is definitely like a Red Bull focused track. So this triple header is going to be interesting.
The race times, do you have them pulled up?
No, I can pull them up really quickly, though.
All right. Yeah, I've got them in the notes. I know the actual race is 9 a.m. again. I think practice is a little earlier, but that's practice. Let's see what time quality's at. Let's see, I got it. We got quali, 9 a.m.
Oh, sweet.
Race, 9 a.m. So,
okay.
Yeah, kind of the same thing we usually deal with.
Yeah, unfortunately, with my job, I'm working a lot of Sundays, but it's a type of job where if the times line up perfectly, if the race is early, I can usually watch most of the race. Sometimes I'll have to drive a little bit, which isn't safe, but I do it.
Yeah.
But I definitely we will 100% get to a point where I will not be working on Sundays, and I want to get to a point where we are live reacting to the races together. Like that's definitely the goal. I think by the start of 2023 season, this might be a little ambitious of a promise. Like that was the whole time I was thinking, like while driving to work and while I was at work watching the race, I was like, God damn, like the live commentary of this is just like would be so amazing. So
Yeah,
definitely.
There's a lot of people that do that. Yeah, the live commentary and then getting out like reactions like Sunday night. But we're still working through our own schedules and our own lives trying to figure this out. But
for sure,
eventually we'll get to a time where we can get everything out and do everything we want to. But hey, we're doing the best we can, and
absolutely,
that's pretty good for now.
I think we're doing a pretty stand-up job for a $0 budget podcast from two guys that live in two different countries.
That's right.
That met on Reddit.
Yes, yeah. So we were wrong with our predictions for Spa, but that was before we knew there was going to be grid penalties up and down the grid. So like that's not really our fault. So I think Lewis might have to take a grid penalty this week because of the car issues. I just saw something about that. I don't know. It hasn't been confirmed. I just saw an article on Reddit. Damn. So I mean, who knows? But let's just say that whatever. Regardless of that, I guess the question is Max, do you think Max is like guaranteed to win this week? Because I actually don't think he's guaranteed to win this week. Like, yeah, they blew everyone out of the water last week, but like it hasn't been like that all season. It hasn't been like that huge of a gap. And like Zandvoort is a lot of a tighter track. So, I mean, I personally don't think it's going to be like a huge blowout. At least maybe that's wishful thinking. But I don't know. If Ferrari can get 1-2 in quali, maybe.
If they can pull off a 1-2 in the race, then I think that could. It's so stupid and foolish to say, but like, there's the smallest chance that if they pull off a miracle, that this thing is not dead. But obviously, it is the championship or the champions' home race. But it definitely is going to be a more like track that's built for the Ferrari. It's definitely a lot of corners. They have so much downforce. It's not a lock for Red Bull for every single weekend, and I don't think I'm pretty sure.
Even it was never lock always for Mercedes. It was never.
Yeah.
It's never
the outliers. I don't even know if I would call it outliers at this point, but it's gonna be. For sure, like I think it's possible Max could win, but like I definitely think Charles has a pretty decent shot, especially if they can just not fuck it up somehow. But again, I don't know. I think the only time you can almost guarantee that Red Bull is going to do extremely well is if you have like a lot of straight line like track, and there's not a lot of that here. So I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I think like I said, the only chance I think Ferrari has is beating Max is if they on quality they get 1-2, but doing that here is gonna be tough. Although I think like this might be the last time this season that Max is gonna feel any pressure, just because it's his home race. He won his first title last year. If he wins again here, it's pretty much just where is he gonna win it? Like it's already over. But they even said on another kind of funny thing on the broadcast when they were like, I think Max was already like 4th or 5th by like lap 10 or something, and they're like, well, Max is going through the field like a little bit quicker than I had hoped he would, to be honest. They were even like, unless you're a Max fan, you're probably hoping it would take him a little longer.
Yep. At the end of the race too, he said something like, he was like, well, this wasn't exactly the most exciting spa that we can hope for, but you all can blame Max Verstappen for that. And then he was like, of course, don't actually blame him. He's done a great job, but
and it wasn't a bad race by any means. Like
no. But it definitely wasn't. I mean, we were saying this could be Mercedes' first win, a lot of these theories, but no, not at all.
So much for that. Yeah, not at all. But I guess, it was. I didn't really factor in just how much the straight line speed. And then we did talk about how Red Bull had a new chassis or whatever.
Yep.
Obviously, that's looking pretty good. So, I mean, I think everyone, even you as a Red Bull fan, is hoping it's not just Red Bull 1-2 running away with it the rest of the year. We do need Lewis to get at least one, but yeah, that's pretty much. I think that's all we got this week. We'll have to get our F1 video games going. But
Oh yes.
yeah, we'll be back for Zandvoort again this weekend. Hopefully a better result for Lewis at least.
Yeah, Mercedes need to pull it together a little bit, but I feel like Mercedes and Ferrari have a chance to do some good, but they're up against a fucking beast right now. And last thing I will say for this episode, there's a tweet that I actually found from @virtual_statman. Assuming Red Bull win both titles in 2022, this will be the second time in the last 13 years that Honda have pulled out of Formula One, only to see the team that they left behind go on to win both championships in the following season.
Damn.
That's I don't know if that's poetic or ironic, but it's definitely funny.
Yes, it's fitting. It's classic.
But yeah, that's all for me, unless you have anything else.
No, I mean, by next week we should hopefully have more of an update on the Piastri situation, but that's kind of dragging. But hey,
for
it
sure,
gives us something to keep talking about. Yeah, go Lewis. Despite a bad week, still we rise. So get back at it.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll have some more news for you guys. Next week we're going to have some new layouts for our video that you can watch on our YouTube channel, Harder Soft F1 Podcast. Yeah, of course, this is episode 27. It's fucking awesome, but we're still growing. We're still learning. We're still evolving. So stick around. Listen every week, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and follow our socials. We're still trying to figure that out. We're still trying to figure out content, post content, but come follow us, grow with us, join our little American Canadian community. But yeah, okay, Harder Soft
paddock.
Yeah, there you go. Join our little paddock over here in North America. But yes, @Harder Soft F1 on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week in the Netherlands.